Want your laser projects to stand out from the rest without a bunch of difficult steps and complicated customizations? Then let me show you how. Resin! Usually resin is a bit of a pain in the ass, but today we are going to be using UV resin to elevate 3 projects in minutes.
Raise your hand if you like waffles. Well, I sure do. I went ahead and laser cut out a little waffle to make a pin out of. For this project, we will also need a yellow Sharpie paint pen, UV resin, a UV curing light, some resin dye, a little piece of wax paper, a stir cup and stick, and love for waffles, of course. The little square in the middle is going to be butter, obviously. To make it a butter color, I'm going to paint it in with this Sharpie oil paint pen. And this is my favorite type of UV resin I've found so far. I'll have links for all this stuff down below, of course. Using some of this resin dye, we just mix a few drops into the resin to make it a very super tasty, yummy looking syrup. It needs to be thoroughly mixed. It will look good enough to eat, but obviously don't eat it. Then I just push the resin around into those waffle abs to give it a syrupy shape. Now I just need to cure it with a UV light. I have this resin cure box, but there's also flashlights out there and a bunch of stuff. Whatever works for you is perfect. In just a couple minutes, this tasty waffle is ready for a pin. The only step left is to find a buyer or to keep it. It's just so cute. If you like Halloween like me, you are going to love this next one because it's a little creepy. First, I cut out these cool knife earrings. I do have a download for these knives. They're just a few bucks. It comes in a bunch of sizes and styles. And now I'm sure you've guessed what my devious plans are with these. We'll need these knife earrings, weld on to attach the knife and handles together, UV resin, more wax paper, some resin dye, and something to mix the resin in, obviously. First, I need to adhere the handles to the knife earrings. After I take off the top layer of masking, a little drop of weld on will do. And now I get my UV light box tray out to put the knives on, but before we start putting some gory effects on them, we need to mix the resin. Mixing some red and a bit darker red into a dollop of resin gives me that tasty life juice color I'm after. I tape down the wax paper and position the knives in the same direction they're going to hang when they're earrings later. Now I just drizzle on the resin into a shape I like. If you have a UV flashlight, that would be helpful to cure it more quickly. And if you want to make your resin a bit thicker, put it in the fridge for a while. Then I just put it in the UV light box for a minute and bask in its gooey glory. I used a file to perfect some of those drippy bits. And to go one step further, I'm going to put a bit more resin on the back side as well. After another light bath, these are ready to turn into earrings and go out for a night at the cemetery. Or the grocery store. Wherever you want to wear them, really. Having the knowledge of stuff like this really makes you stand out. And speaking of standing out, the best way you can do that is by having more knowledge than your competitors. And that's why I quickly have to mention Laser Design Club will be featuring a resin-specific tutorial of mine this August. In addition to their self-paced laser video courses, they have free monthly downloads, contests, and it's just nice to have a community of us silly little laser people. For this last project, I'm going to need this neat ornament, which is cut out of clear and black acrylics, a Sharpie paint pen, UV resin, of course, dried flowers, or fun little thingies you'd like to trap in some resin, weld on, and that's it for this one. No mixing. I laser engraved a phrase in reverse on this thin clear acrylic, and now I'm going to paint it in with that Sharpie black oil paint pen. Then I take off the reverse side masking tape and the masking tape from the black outline acrylic piece. Also, weld on will weld these two pieces together, and now I'm ready to decorate the insides with flowers from my garden. I first put a little bit of resin in so the flowers will stick to where I want them. Once everything is roughly in place, I slowly fill it all in with enough resin to cover everything. Nice and slow keeps the bubbles away, but if you're getting some bubbles around your flowers or whatever you want to encase, just use a toothpick or paintbrush and try to move them up and pop them out. The flowers were wanting to float up a bit, so I quickly got it in my light box, and after a few moments, it's just about done. I took off the remaining masking and then I put it back in the light box to expose the opposite side for good measure. I hung a pretty ribbon on it, and now this cute charm will remind me to drink more water. Of course, I drink water out of a wine glass. My cats drink their water in a margarita glass, so, it seems fair. Well, anyway, I'm starting to get quite a collection of inspiring laser craft tutorials on my channel, so why not grab yourself a waffle, a wine glass of water, and watch this one next.